Hi guys, welcome back. And today I want to talk about something that's very strange. Being able to be in the startup ecosystem and um, just seeing someone like Sam Altman, who's done so much, and in terms of just work, incredibly grown OpenAI to a level that I don't think anyone would have been able to do it in that quick succession or in that quick manner. Um, just seeing how volatile the startup ecosystem is kind of scary because um, this is kind of the problems that you are facing when you're stepping into the startup ecosystem, um, and there are a lot of other problems arise as well because you have a small team. And if you look at the crux of this story, the board member consists of 6 members, and out of those two people who were getting kicked out, or no, one got kicked out and the other left, so there were just 4 people against the 2 people that were kind of in the midst of doing a lot of the work and so on. um and this is what results in a lot of other startups as well. And that's exactly what I wanted to talk about, because that's a problem that startups are facing. um with all the technology and everything growing so fast in the rapidly changing environment, people don't know how to interact with other people, and no, we lose track of certain things, and we're taking very sporadic decisions, just quick decisions that not even looking at what the consequences might be. Because I think Ilya, for example, if she had gone ahead and done this by planning it for so long, behind everyone's back, and kind of speaking to the other 4 members of the board, where was Microsoft in this whole decision making process? Because they are the biggest investors. So obviously Microsoft will be furious. So it brings about a lot of different change. So there's a lot of things I think that has happened without thinking about the consequences. And this could be because of limited resources, or just no founder bias, or just one person trying to think about, like, one person cannot be the deciding factor for the organization, right? And so that's where, how much leverage does Sam Altman have versus the other board members? There's a lot of context now that's going to come into open, and in the same way, this is what startups are facing, because that's what I ideally want to talk about, was how the uncertainty and the rapid change is kind of destroying the startup ecosystem. Because when we're looking at startups, they might have a really amazing idea, and they might have a really great pool of resources, and have good programmers and developers, um, and product teams, and a great CEO, a great CTO, and so on. But if everybody is not unified into one goal and one purpose, then this is exactly what happens. And you always have people having different views and opinions, but we need to come back to communicate. This clearly can be seen as lack of communication, and they're putting out information saying that he wasn't transparent or whatever. But if he wasn't transparent, then obviously there would have been a lot of warnings or communications that's going back and forth. And it's very blatantly, just it looks very ignorant from Ilya, for example, just going about, randomly just selecting and getting on a 15-minute Zoom meeting or a Google Meet, and just firing someone. And firing someone like the CEO is not a small, it doesn't come with a small weight, right? There's a lot of thinking that should have gone into it. But this is what, like, in terms of me, I'm trying to understand from the perspective that what can I learn from certain instances like this that's happening around me. Hiring and firing decisions cannot be made alone, obviously, and this wasn't a decision that was made alone. But again, it cannot initiate from one person and convincing everyone else to go with that wave. It's because strategic planning and having processes in place for a particular company or a startup means that you have a thought for something, and then you also have a plan B, plan A, no, your plan A, plan B's, and if that doesn't work out, and obviously you have ways to actually go about, a structured manner, because someone like the CEO cannot just be thrown off from the board or thrown off unless he's drastically doing something completely wrong. And right now, he was the face of the organization, and he was the person who was currently doing all the investor relations and speaking to people. No, he was always part of all the keynotes, and he was the one representing OpenAI in the cases, or even in the legal issues, that battles and so on. So when someone has worked so much to build something, we're speaking about people here. It's careers, it's a lot of people that are involved, and we can't just throw, obviously they're in a level that supersedes a lot of other folks, but that doesn't matter, they're still people. So uh, uh, there's a lot of things that I think could have been done better, and I think everyone knows that. But the thing to address is startups need to also realize that they're functional companies, and there are people that are dependent on the business themselves. It's not just the customers, but also people within the organization, whether they have shares or not. That's not the question. They're passionate about what they do, and that's why startup enthusiasts and no CEOs actually start like join startups and want to actually take things forward. And so when you have who are passionate about their jobs, and they're being thrown out because of some issues with personal vengeance or whatever, obviously it's going to be hurtful and despiteful. So you know uh, and the other thing is, a lot of founders might also face lack of experience and collective experiences needed to actually handle tough situations. Like, for example, I'm pretty sure that um a lot of the team that were working amongst that OpenAI group is all fairly not very experienced, but at the same time, yes, no people who know their crafts very well. Um, so again, they obviously need guidance, and they obviously need support and so on. And that's where someone like Satya Nadella, or even Microsoft, or just tapping into that pool of resources that they have can be of handy help. But that's only if the people on the other side are reciprocating and also asking for that help. So it's very important for us in the startup system or ecosystem to understand and ask for help when it's required, but at the same time know where we might be going wrong, or know where we might be not doing so well, and try to understand how we can refine it with the team that we have in hand, instead of, it's not just hire and fire, because that's not the way the world works. You can't just wake up one morning and be like, oh yeah, today I'm going to do something completely different. And then the next morning, oh, fire this guy and then hire someone else and then rehire him. This isn't a game. It's not a reality. No, it's not a reality show. It's, we're dealing with something for a bigger impact. And when we're doing that, we need to understand the implications that come across that. Um, I don't know what you guys feel, and if you guys have any thoughts, do comment below. But my thought is, these quick snippets of reactions to particular situations is not the way I think business should work. I think there's a lot more things that in this one day could have been handled in closed doors, and then come out with a more detailed story in terms of bringing a narrative to the people, so people can also understand what's happening, because we're not dealing with something that's like, we're dealing with OpenAI, which is really open to the public. And so obviously, like, just the impact of how Microsoft shares have tanked. There is a lot more people involved in this, so it's always nice to, it's not nice to see problems like this happen, but at the same time, it's always nice to understand that the organizations that are being built to becoming big organizations are empathetic to people. So, that mission or that vision that you have for your organization, it doesn't just stop with your goals in mind, but also being nice to people, that is something that should be a given. And I feel that that wasn't portrayed in the whole event, like in this whole clash of Sam Altman and the rest. Um, and so you can see just by him leaving, he's obviously there's a team that's leaving with him, and so on. So it's a domino effect, and I'm pretty sure that there's definitely have been rifts before, but they could have been addressed in a much neater or a better way than to go publicly and tarnish OpenAI's name or so on. So I'm just dumbfounded by what has happened. But these are my thoughts, and I know if you guys have any thoughts, do drop them in the comment section and let's have a chat. Um, but this is definitely problems with startups, and I genuinely feel that no, the only way we can break those problems is when people need help, they actually ask for help. And like, it applies to myself, it applies to a lot of founders out there, and I think we can resonate with this whole situation. Yeah, thanks guys for listening in and tuning in. Have a good weekend, and no, I'll catch you in the next one. Yeah, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or anywhere, do check out my other videos as well. And if you're listening on the podcast, no thanks, please do subscribe and like as well, and do share with others because that really helps us. Thank you so much. Cheers, guys.